Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway. Bill Elliott leading Sterling Marlin. The rookie Casey Kane currently running third. We're through 42 laps at the Samsung Radioshack 500. Quick recap if we go back for a few moments. The first and only caution of this race so far was on lap 19 when Jeff Gordon and Casey Mears played tap and go. A little debris on the racetrack. Rusty Wallace led for a while after Bill Elliott and then Sterling Marlin. But on lap 38 moments ago, Bill Elliott taking the lead back. And there you see Sterling Marlin and Bill Elliott going. A couple of veterans here on a track that last year was run by a then 25-year-old Ryan Newman.
I think right now what you're seeing is the fact that these veterans have got their cars working like they need to, at least early on. We see Sterling Marlin getting on the inside of Bill Elliott off the corner, and here comes the 9 in behind him. That's Casey Kane in the picture. And these Dodgers are putting right now on a whale of a show early on.
And Bill Elliott just not fading in the sunset, the limited race schedule, but taking notes, helping out Casey Kane in terms of what he's done, and it's helped him so far.
He's quite a coach. I mean, you think about it like his, Chris. There's a lot of experience right there. And speaking of experience right there, a couple of teammates going at it in last year's winter. Ryan Newman getting underneath Rusty Wallace, who had a strong run last weekend at Bristol, followed closely in there by Joe Nemechek in the 01 car.
Saw Rusty Wallace at the hotel right across from the racetrack here last night at dinner, and he said, hey, I'm not just saying this, you know, I'm always optimistic, but I really like our car. Off of the momentum from Bristol, I think we have a really good chance of winning this race. Of course, that would end his string of 104 races without a win.
Right now, he seems like he's holding a pretty wheel at this moment.
Let's go back upstairs, rejoin Mike, Darrell, and Larry.
There's the distance for the lead. Marlin, Bill Elliott, and the first Chevy in the race, Nemechek 6th. The first Ford is Greg Biffle at 7th.
One thing I noticed about Bill's car, Larry, is it's really, really fast on the restarts, but it seems like it goes away, and these other cars are catching up with him and passing him now.
Well, I tell you who is fast, not only on the restart, but this whole run. Derek Cope in this 50 car, he started back in 31st. I've been watching his times. He's been about as quick as our leaders. He just drove by Kurt Busch in the 97 and Tony Stewart in the 20. He's up to 13th position. Big tip of the hat to Mike Hillman. His crew chief made the call to take 2 tires, got that track position, and he has a fast race car right now. That's another unsponsored car.
Tony Stewart, 1 spot back of Cope, is in 14th place, Steve.
And Mike, so far they're not having a very good day. On the last pit stop, they pulled a spring rubber out of the left rear tire. This has not been one of Tony's best racetracks.
Well, it sounds like his car must be pushing from the center out as we see Casey Kane go by Sterling Marlin for the lead right there in the 9 car. When you take a spring rubber out of the left rear, that means your car has been pushing. They're trying to free that car up. It don't look like it fixed it.
This young rookie who had his Express derailed last week in Bristol, where he and Jamie McMurray got together, and Kane ended up with the worst of it. Shook that off, came here to Texas, regretted the comments he made in that post-crash interview. Said that's all forgotten. We're just going to go racing. We're going to, when we say we're going to get him, we're going to beat him. And everybody else.
All these guys need a red-headed wife to stand behind them and shake her head with her hand over her mouth, and they'd finally get the message.
All right, the fastest Chevy for most of this weekend, full qualifying excluded, has been Joe Nemechek. Matt?
Currently running in the 6th position. Before the caution on his lap 20 pit stop, Joe's car was tight. Put on a set of sticker tires and made an air pressure adjustment. Now he's reporting the car is very, very tight. In his pit today, a big fan of the U.S. Army 01 team, and that's Major General Raymond Odinero. He is the commanding general of the 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Hood here in Texas. The 27,000 soldier division recently returned to Texas after a year of combat operations in Iraq. And he was chiefly responsible for the capture of the Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. This is his 2nd race. He says many more to come. He's a huge race fan.
Now, Larry, he'd probably be quite a strategist. Maybe we ought to visit with him.
Yes, I would say, but we know by virtue of emails and letters that so many of our troops overseas watch our races, NASCAR on Fox, every weekend.
We saw Nemechek, the fastest Chevy in this race, just ahead of the butt cam, as Greg Biffle. He is the leading Ford in the race, going underneath Nemechek to take over 6th place. Dick?
Well, in
in the inspection line this morning, Greg Biffle's crew chief, Doug Richard, decided to make an 11th hour change in that car, and they hooked up the rear anti-roll bar in it. Seems to be working pretty well. Biffle says the only problem he has encountered with the car so far is that it is a bit tight coming out of the corners.
And Dick, that's a huge change on race morning, that rear sway bar. It really stiffens the rear spring rate, and it can definitely free that car up or loosen it up. So that was a huge gamble this morning, Darrell.
Yeah, usually you hook a bar up because you know you're going to get tight off the corner. It's a little edgy getting in the corner, but it does really help the car get off the corner when the nose starts sliding.
Bobby Labonte, who started from the pole, currently running in 9th place. And Matt Kenseth, our point leader, after sliding back to 35th, he is gaining ground. He's up to 31st. And moving up on a group that includes the 1999 winner here, Terry Labonte.
And his lap times are starting to look better, but the problem is he's only 7 seconds from going a lap down to our leader, Casey Kane, in the 9.
That's Jeff Burton just ahead of Kenseth in an unfamiliar color, white paint job on his Roush number 99 this week.
Yeah, they're both on the back. They're on the straightaway on the back together. I mean, the 9 cars down near the end and 17 cars coming off.
Greg Biffle's trying to break up that all Dodge front 5.
Looking low, inside. 8 cars right behind him. Clear.
And Dale Jr. now is the top Chevy in the race in 7th.
You know, Mike, I want to go back to what Matt Yoakum was talking about. The top 10 qualifiers are required to start the race on the tires they qualify on. They're scuff tires. Then when you have the first pit stop, normally you have to go to sticker or new tires, and that can be a big nail biter for the guys not knowing how much that's going to change the characteristics till you get a few laps into a run. It can change the way the car drives.
Yeah, one of the guys told me, they said, you know, I'd like to qualify 11th every week.
To get new tires.
If I can't sit on the pole.
If I can't sit on the pole, yeah.
Be the first car on new tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr. alongside Greg Biffle. Biffle got the better launch off the corner as they chase Rusty Wallace for 5th. And the pack closes in. Nemechek, Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Elliott Sadler all trying to close right up on the battle for 5th place.
I know that 38 car, I talked to the crew chief, Todd Parrott, this morning, Elliott Sadler's car. They pushed their car through inspection this morning about 8:30 before anyone. Todd said the car was good. We hope we don't fight the same thing we fought in Atlanta where it was so loose when the race started, but I know they felt very good. 0 changes on that car this morning, and he had the car to beat here a year ago until he had a tire cut down on the backstretch.
Look who else is catching this pack. Derek Cope in 12th place. He's caught him.
He is on the move. I've been watching this monitor, and he definitely has one of the fastest cars.
5 Dodges at the front, 7 cars trying to break that pack up, and they are closing fast. But it's Casey Kane, Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, Ryan Newman, and Rusty Wallace at 58 laps in the Samsung Radioshack 500. Rookie Casey Kane on point with a 2-second lead.